In a world where power is often hidden behind the scenes, who truly controls the global stage? From powerful nations to shadowy elites, we'll uncover the real forces shaping our world today. Join us as we dig deeper into the concept of the New World Order and reveal who holds the reins of power. Understanding the New World Order idea. The term New World Order has a long history. It first appeared in discussions of global change after major events like wars. After World War I, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson called for a new system where international cooperation could prevent future conflicts. The phrase gained more attention in 1990 when President George H.W. Bush used it to describe a future where countries work together under common rules rather than relying on force. This vision of a global system helped popularize the idea of the New World Order as a way to look at how the world is run. Countries as key players, balancing power and global influence. Countries, or nation-states, have always been central to global power. The United States, China, and Russia, for example, hold significant influence through their economic strength, military power, and political reach. However, the idea of complete national control is now being challenged by global organizations like the United Nations and the World Trade Organization. These groups aim to create rules that affect multiple nations, often leading to debates about national sovereignty versus international cooperation. For example, meetings like the G7 and G20 summits bring together the world's most powerful countries to solve problems like climate change and global security. Yet, many argue that these meetings mainly serve the interests of the wealthiest nations, often sidelining smaller or less powerful countries. Global corporations, economic giants shaping the world. Large multinational companies have enormous power in today's world. Companies like Apple, Amazon, and Google have become more influential than many countries. In 2022, Apple's total value was over $2.5 trillion, making it richer than most nations. These companies shape international trade, labor laws, and even local regulations through their economic clout. A 2011 study by the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology Zurich showed that a small group of 147 companies controlled nearly 40% of the global economy. This concentration of corporate power has raised concerns about the growing influence of private businesses over public policies and everyday life. The financial system, banks, and global wealth control. Banks and large financial institutions are key players in managing global wealth. Huge banks like JP Chase, Goldman Sachs, and international organizations like the International Monetary Fund control trillions of dollars. They influence national economies, set trends in global finance, and affect the lives of millions of people. Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors, once said, "Banking is very good business if you don't do anything dumb." The 2008 global financial crisis showed just how powerful these institutions are. Governments worldwide had to rescue big banks from failure to prevent a complete economic meltdown. This event highlighted the deep connection between financial systems and political decision-making. Media control. Who shapes what we see and hear? That which people think and how they understand the world are both greatly affected by the media. There are 6 big companies in the United States that control about 90% of the material that people read, watch, and listen to. These companies include Comcast, Disney, and News Corp. An excessive amount of control over information has led to worries about the accuracy of news stories and the way that business interests can affect what is printed. Big tech companies like Google, Facebook, and Twitter have a lot of control over how information moves on the internet these days. Both what news people see and what information gets spread are choices made by these sites. A former media mogul named Rupert Murdoch was quoted as saying, "Big will not beat small anymore. People who move quickly will win over people who move slowly." This event shows how quickly technology and the media can change people's minds. The power of the defense industry, the military and business connection. In his goodbye speech in 1961, President Dwight D. Eisenhower talked about the military-industrial complex and how it was becoming more powerful. He said that he was worried that the defense industry would have too much power over government choices. The US spends more on its military than the next 10 countries put together. This is because companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon have a big say in how defense and foreign policies are made. This trend is not just aimed at the United States of America. It's clear that defense companies have a lot of power around the world because in 2022, the world spent $2.24 trillion on the military. This huge amount of money spent shows how closely global power is linked to the strength of the military and the companies that support it. International organizations coordinating global efforts. International organizations like the United Nations, World Health Organization, and the World Trade Organization play a vital role in coordinating global efforts. These organizations work to solve global issues that individual countries can't tackle alone, such as health crises, economic development, and international peacekeeping. For example, the World Health Organization was crucial in coordinating global efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite these efforts, such organizations are often criticized for being dominated by powerful countries that influence decisions to suit their interests. Critics argue that these institutions need more balanced representation to truly reflect the needs of the global community. Wealthy elites. Influence of the ultra-rich. The world's wealthiest individuals also have a considerable influence over global affairs. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates are not just business leaders, but global influencers. Through their companies, philanthropic efforts, and investments in cutting-edge technology, they shape public policy, innovation, and even government agendas. Bill Gates, for example, through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has invested billions of dollars in global health initiatives. While these actions can have positive impacts, they also raise concerns about unelected individuals having too much control over public policy. Technology and data, the new gold of power. In today's digital world, data has become one of the most valuable resources. Companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook collect massive amounts of data on their users, giving them incredible insight into consumer behavior and trends. This data is used to influence everything from marketing to politics. Governments also recognize the power of data. Surveillance technologies and cyber capabilities are becoming key tools for national security and political control. Edward Snowden, a former CIA employee who exposed global surveillance programs, famously said, "Privacy is the fountainhead of all other rights." His revelations showed how governments and corporations use data to maintain control over populations. The future of global power, shifting trends. As we look to the future, the nature of global power continues to change. Climate change, technological advancements, and shifting geopolitical alliances are reshaping who controls the world. Emerging economies like India and Brazil are gaining influence, while global efforts to address climate change could alter the traditional power structures. Former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger once said, "Power is the ultimate aphrodisiac." The future of global power may be less about brute force and more about the ability to adapt and influence through technology, global cooperation, and sustainability efforts. Henry Kissinger's World Order. Insights on Global Power. In his 2014 book, World Order, Henry Kissinger offers a deep analysis of global governance and the shifting balance of power in the international system. Kissinger, a former U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, is well known for his realist approach to foreign policy. His book explores how different regions Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and the U.S. each perceive world order through their unique historical experiences and cultural values. One of Kissinger's key arguments is that a stable world order requires a balance of power between nations, backed by a shared set of rules. He warns against unilateralism and stresses the importance of diplomacy, alliances, and mutual respect between countries. He also acknowledges the role of technology and non-state actors in reshaping global power dynamics, urging leaders to adapt to these changes to avoid global chaos. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the hidden power structures of our world. If you found this exploration eye-opening, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global dynamics. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.